Welcome to Kitchen Basics 101, where I teach you the bare bone basics as if you've never cooked a day in your life from the perspective of a mom. As I promised, we're going to do a less stir risotto. I can't call it no stir because there's really no such thing as no stir. There has to be some stirring, but this is significantly less stirring. So I'm going to use bone broth from Costco. You want to heat it up first. This is 4 cups. We're going to use a total of 5 cups, but I'm going to heat up 4 cups first, and I'm going to put it in before I put it in the oven. So you're going to heat your oven up to 350 degrees. You're going to get your 4 cups of chicken broth, chicken stock. Yes, this can be vegetable stock if you're going vegetarian with this, or vegan with this. You could totally do vegetable stock instead of. Now this is going to be a riff on 𝐼𝐼𝐼𝐼𝐼 method. So I've got a couple of tablespoons of butter here melting in my pan, and then I'm going to add in my frozen garlic, which I've shown you guys that I make. I basically just grind up some garlic and freeze it in the freezer so that it's already pre-portioned and ready to use whenever I want to use it. And I would say that's equivalent to like maybe 4 or 5 cloves of garlic that's grated up. And I put quite a bit of butter in here. And then I'm going to just give my risotto, my rice, my arborio rice, just a little bit of a toast in a second. As soon as I get the garlic, just fragrance. So I'm just going to saute the garlic for a minute or two. If it turns really dark, then you've gone too far. So you don't want that. We just want it to really have a potent smell and maybe get a teeny tiny bit of color, but that's it. Okay, now I added 1.5 cups of the arborio rice. It's important that you use this rice as a short grain rice, and it's going to release its starches, which is what you need for a good risotto, because you want it to be creamy. So we're going to give this a little stir and a little toast. Like I said, this is a riff on 𝐼𝐼𝐼𝐼𝐼's less stir risotto, but it's also a little bit mine because I like to toast the rice before we start. Okay, once it's all toasted, we're going to take our already warmed 4 cups chicken broth, veggie broth, whatever broth you've got. We're going to pour that over. Then I'm going to give it one little just stir to get all of my rice and garlic off of the edges, and if there's anything stuck on the bottom of the pan. Okay, then I'm going to put a lid on. Nice heavy lid, heavy pot. That's going to go into a 350 degree oven for 45 minutes. Okay, while we're waiting for the risotto in the oven, I'm going to start prepping the rest of my ingredients. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. You can buy already grated Parmesan. I personally prefer it to grate it myself, and now I have a rotary grater, and so it's really quick and easy. So you need about 1 cup of Parmesan cheese, or if you're like me, you need like 1 cup and then all of it that you're going to put on your own serving. So you might as well just do 2 cups, right? So this makes quick work of it, which I love. It's one of my favorite kitchen tools. And also, like, if I grate this and it's too much, then I just store it in the fridge and use it on the leftover risotto that I'm going to eat, because I know there's going to be leftovers. The video before this, I also roasted my butternut squash, so it's ready to put in. My Parmesan cheese is ready. I have a little over 1/2 cup of white wine ready. I'm using Pinot Grigio. And then I have 1 cup of chicken stock ready on the stove, because those are all the things that we're going to add when the risotto comes out. Okay, I know I said white wine, but then I remembered that I used white wine last time and I didn't show you guys an alternative. So today we're going to use sparkling apple cider. So apple juice, fancy apple juice. It's going to be, a touch sweeter than wine, but you have to look at the whole thing. It's a huge pot of risotto, and we're going to put like 1/2 cup of apple juice. It's not going to be some life-changing thing. I'm going to put slightly more than 1/2 cup. Okay, it's out of the oven, and it's basically like cooked through, but we need to make it into risotto. Right now, it's just a garlicky, buttery rice, right? So we're going to put that extra cup of broth, and we're going to put our wine, apple juice, or more broth if you don't want to use either of those things, or that acid could be lemon juice. But for us, we're going to use apple juice today, and about 1 cup of Parmesan cheese. Now, you haven't stirred up into this point, but now you're going to vigorously stir nonstop for 2 minutes. So let's set the timer, 2 minutes, and you're going to vigorously nonstop stir to break up those starches for the next 2 minutes. 2 minutes is longer than you think. But it's, I guess, better than stirring languidly for 30 minutes. You can stir vigorously for 2 minutes. So you pick your poison. This takes longer, but it's easier. So it's personal preference here on the risotto styles. Okay, my 2-minute timer just went off, and you can already see it's definitely getting more of a like porridge consistency, which is what you're looking for risotto. It should be creamy, right? It should give off like oatmeal vibes, right? Okay, then we have our roasted butternut squash. I'm gonna start with a cup of butternut squash. I have more, and I'm gonna stir it in and see where I come to, because last time I made it, we had too many peas. Just felt like it was too pea forward, so we're gonna mix that in before we go too crazy with it. I'm gonna put a little bit more of my squash. Okay, now we're definitely gonna need salt and pepper, but I like to give a taste first just to see how much salt and pepper I need. The Parmesan, the squash, everything, it's really good. I'm gonna put a little bit of salt, maybe a half a teaspoon, and then I'm gonna put a nice teaspoon of pepper. Give that all a really good stir. Oh, what a beautiful dish. Gorgeous. It's really Parmesan-y, creamy. I think it needs a little bit more pepper, but it's definitely salty enough. Most important part, the tasting. I dressed mine with a couple extra little chunks of our squash and some fresh cracked pepper. I don't think this one needs any parm. I put a really healthy hunk of parm in there, and I used butter and garlic to start. So there's already some just really strong, tremendous, beautiful flavors. Hearty, salty, savory, just a touch of sweetness, not overly sweet. That apple juice did not add like a ton of sweetness at all. Beautifully balanced. Don't need the wine, don't miss it. Love starting with the butter instead of the olive oil. So good. Do I think this method is easier? Yes and no. Like, it takes longer to put it in the oven for 45 minutes, but it's like less laborious than stir, 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 stir. I think it's sort of half a dozen of one since the other. I guess it depends on what else you're up to, what else you're doing for the day. Whether you want to do this method or not. I do think that the rice has just a little bit more chew than when you constantly stir it for 30 minutes. It's just a little bit more texture to the rice, but absolutely superb. Absolutely delicious. This would be great too with sweet potato, acorn squash, asparagus, like any veg. And roasted, it just adds like another layer of flavor. 10 out of 10 recommend.